So now what we want to do is we want to build your 2021 plan. We've gone over a lot of stuff so far. We want to make sure you have an action plan and that you take this stuff and actually implement it for 2021. Now I know this is a lot of stuff. Not everybody has the budget to do all these things. Not everybody has the expertise to do all these things. But the point here is to start putting some plans in place. These are all meant to work on top of one another. If you look at that chart, it's like a wheel, and you want to make sure all these things are moving forward, and it's more like a machine, and each one of these things is going to get you up to where you're just turning at 150 miles an hour and making sure all cylinders are firing. And so you want to make sure that you start to implement whatever, even if you only took a couple of these things, and you start stacking upon them. Get one or two things implemented and add something else and add something else. Of course, all budget dependent of what you can do yourself or hiring somebody like us to do it. And so there's things like, making sure your website that's built to convert, proactive SEO for both the organic and the Google Maps, making sure you've got reviews constantly coming in on a consistent basis, and those reviews are being shared on your website and your social media, the right PPC campaigns, the social media ad system, making sure that you're doing it strategically with funnels, that you're doing retargeting with it, just making sure that you're putting a full system and not just throwing up some ads and hoping it's going to work and you're just throwing spaghetti against the wall. You need to be strategic about these things because it's paid ad. You're spending marketing dollars. You want to make sure it's doing it correctly. And then again, following up and nurture. There's a lot of systems out there that you can use to do this. Of course, we have ours, which is lead, nurture, close. But you want to make sure that you're following up and nurturing all these people. It could even be existing customers. If you're not reaching out to them and besides asking for reviews and asking for referrals, but maybe they need to have some more work done, or maybe they know their sister is and they weren't thinking about you. So you want to be nurturing customers as well as these prospects. Any lead that's come in, as I said, they need multiple touches, and you just don't want to throw them away. You've spent this money to get them in, or even effort to get them in as a lead. You need to follow up with them. And then, of course, retargeting anybody that's come to your website, social media. Again, you spent money to get them there. Not everybody's ready to make a buying decision now. And you also want to increase your brand awareness to them and let them know the kind of work that you do and the kind of company that you are, and building your business up to that level that you want to be at. And then most importantly is KPI tracking. You want to have your key performance indicators well front and center. I know some companies that put them up on the wall on a video so that everybody can see them. You want to share those with your team and with your upper lead management as well as the crews under you. Get them all on the same page so they understand what you're doing and where you're trying to get to. And as I said on all this, it's not a which channel, it's multi-channel. You need to be focusing on all these and getting them all firing correctly, and so that you have this machine that's just churning out the conversions for you, and that is a sustainable business that you can actually depend on, and that's all done with an omnipresence. So one of the tools that I'm going to give you is this ultimate checklist, the 2-page checklist. It's pretty much itemized a lot of these things that we talked about with your website, with your SEO, with the follow-up, and it's a checklist that you can go through and kind of just check off. And I encourage you to actually take this and do it. Go through it, and it'll get you thinking about things that you can do. Thank you, Daniel, for putting that in there. And it's things that you can actually do to implement and start propelling your business. Put this in place, and then it gives you a plan of, okay, I have these things, and maybe highlight things that you want to do and take care of. So you can go to that link. It's in the chat as well. You can grab this checklist, and this will help with your plan. The other thing is that I mentioned, we dropped the link in earlier, but we have a worksheet, and it talks about the numbers with your goals, your targets, how many leads, and then it takes it a step further. It actually chunks it down by month, and it gives you percentages that you can actually look at. So, and it includes even your offline marketing, percentage for, referrals and engaging with past clients, and keeping those things coming in. Any offline marketing that you're doing, you can put those in there and kind of come up with the numbers that you need to be spending. Small Business Administration says any small business that's doing 5 million or under, just to keep it status quo, they should be doing between 5 and 8% of their gross target. So again, if you're trying to get to $1 million next year, then you should be doing, at a bare minimum, to be status quo, you should be doing 8%. And if you really want to grow that, say you're already a $1 million company and you want to get to 1.5, you should be doing 10 to 15, because that's going to exponentially get you moving to that direction rather than just kind of keeping at a status quo with your marketing efforts. So that's all in this worksheet. And then we also have some additional things to kind of just get your mind going and to plan out every month for your marketing, what kind of emails to do, what kind of social media to do, where to focus on SEO, and just use that as a place of starting point to kind of get your mind going and to put things in place and plan out, and so you can take action with them. So it's a great worksheet to kind of get you there. So of these things that we talked about, I would like to know, and you can put this down in your workbook, you can refer to it later, at least put it down on paper. What are your top three, just the top three, out of all those things we've talked about, what are the top 3 internet marketing initiatives that you need to implement to hit your 2021 goal? We've already talked about the goals. We've talked about the messages and the marketing and your who. So what 3 things are you going to get in place for 2021, which means you need to start thinking about it now. You need to do these things now. You can't start SEO 6 months from now and hope to be ranking, during 6 months. You need to be starting to do those things now, so that these things are starting to get and put in place and starting to affect your bottom line. So pick 3. If anybody wants to share in the chat, I would love to see what 3 things that you want to implement. But just put it in writing and then share. Share it with your team, share it with your employees, your staff. And then I would like to hear any takeaways, based off of this. What did you learn? What did you notice? Anything you'd like to share? I know some people that have shared with me some things when I've shared this to them, is the biggest thing that caught their attention was needing to have to do multiple channels. They always thought, I could just do just one, and they didn't see the impact that it has. And then another big one, yeah, exactly, is the conversions. Some small changes, not changing anything, will actually increase your conversions. That's a huge one. And the whole point is putting down your goals, putting a plan to get to those goals, and taking action. Taking imperfect action is better than taking no action at all. And if you don't have clear goals, you're not going to get there.